where I talk about the Michigan redistricting prediction I've made on YouTube, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, this is actually my prediction for the state of Michigan, and you get a sneak peek of the partisan lanes before it gets started. If we look at the redistricting across the United States, you can see there's quite a few states that have already released their new maps, and additionally about 20 states that have already proposed at least one of their maps, and about 20 states that still does not have any maps, which does include the crucial states of Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Florida, and California, and the state of New Jersey. But otherwise, we do have a good picture of how the maps may go, and if you look at the state of Michigan, they have the most proposed maps out of any state, and if we compare to the other states, the state has a staggering 25 proposed maps, and there's quite a few maps they have basically been accepting. The Apple plan is this plan here, right here. If we look at the Birch plan, it is this plan right here. And if we look at the Chestnut plan, it's the plan right here. So, which of the plans do I believe will be most likely to get through? You will be revealing in this video. I will be revealing that one of these plans are going to be relatively similar to my prediction, because these three maps are quite different. If we look at the Apple plan here, the most important things you should take a look at is the Michigan 4th Congressional District, with Peter Major getting drawn into a D+9 district. You can also see N11 being drawn into R+8 district, while Haley Stevens gets in a D+24 district. These districts are being talked about by me for a reason. The Birch plan gives Peter Major a R+7 district, according to PPI, and 11 gets a D+7 district, and Haley Stevens gets a D+11 district. And if we look at the Chestnut plan, Peter Major gets a D+3 district, and 11 gets a R+6 district, and Haley Stevens gets a D+15 district, and Daniel Kinley gets a slightly more Democratic favoring district, but otherwise pretty similar. Now, if we look at my prediction here, my prediction is like this. You can see that the Democrats basically have 3 safe districts, the Republicans have 4. The Democrats have 2 leading districts, while the Republicans have 4, according to the 2020 presidential election results. So in theory, the map is unbalanced, as the Democrats only hold 5 districts, while the Republicans hold 8, in a state that Biden won, where that's kind of unbalanced. But you have to realize is that more of these districts that Republicans hold that are considered leaning are toss-ups. I think most people know which the 6th district is likely going to go. It's a more blue district, and I think most people do agree that the Democrats are probably going to win this district. And if we look at the 3rd district, also Democrat hold leading district. It could flip, but in the end, it looks like to be a more Democratic district. For the Republican district, however, the 11th is basically a toss-up. The 5th is a very narrowly Republican-leaning district, I'm assuming about R+2, and the 4th is also about a R+2 district, and even the 9th district isn't that solid. I think it's about maybe a R+5 district, I'm assuming. Again, it does have some blue areas, such as the city of Kamloops, the Kamloops City, and then you have the Pearl Harbor, you have Houston, and so you have quite a few cities that are Democratic leaning. So really, the Democrats do have a good shot at winning all 4 of these, while the Republicans could only, in theory, flip one of these districts. Now, this map looks quite similar, actually, to the Birch plan. I think that they're going to show up Peter Major while also showing up N11, giving Haley Stevens a more competitive district, and these 2 districts will be a R+4 and R+2 district. Honestly, this is a Cook PVI. These are not the most accurate, because it's assuming on a even basis. If 2024 becomes a R+2 year, you're very likely to see all these districts stay red and the blue districts stay blue. If it's a D+2 year, you maybe see the 11th district hold for the Democrats. The 5th may flip, it may also hold, so this is going to be the map here. Now if we look at these statistics, again, you can see that only 3 of these districts have a solid Democratic lean, 3 of them have a solid, very solid Republican lean, and 1 of them has a relatively solid Republican lean. If you look at the analytics, it is pretty good. It's pretty compact. It does benefit minorities. It does not split a lot. It is pretty compact and it's pretty proportional overall. If we look at the numbers here, compared to the most proportional, most compact, I think best minority, I'm actually very close to the best minority. Most compact, and then you have the least splitting, which is, let me see, how much do I have? Oh yeah, I have a relatively bad score at splitting. So you can see that how my map is. My map is decent. I mean, you can see that most of the maps are, my map is pretty decent overall. The Democrats are a little bit underrepresented proportionally, but Democrats lose about 0.76 districts, but I'd say that's good enough, honestly. And let's switch around the data sets a little bit. Using the data set the Republicans won President 2016, you can see that a lot of these districts flip. The 6th even becomes very, very close, as the Democrats did not do too well in the working class area. This is the largest Republican county, Maricopa County. The Republicans did not do very. The Republicans did very well there. The Democrats still win these 3 districts very large, by very impressive margins, but they are much less solidified, especially the 7th district for the Democrats. You can just see Ann Arbor is much more Republican on this map than on President 2020. If you look at the data set that Democrats won by a larger margin, Governor 2018, the Democrats did do very well in a lot of these districts. The Democrats did very well in Macomb County. They actually won the county. They did very well in Grand Rapids. They actually underperformed Joe Biden, but they still did very well. They did very well in Flint and Shawinigan counties. These are very well done Democratic counties, and this is just a very good map for the Democrats. They even won counties such as, I believe they came very, very close. Actually, they did win the county of, I believe, Geopic County, which is a county Obama did carry. So again, very good map at the time for the Democrats. This is what you might see, a 76 map in favor of the Republicans. I mean, the Democrats, President 2016. It's actually pretty interesting. The 3rd actually goes red, but the 11th goes blue very solidly. The 5th is also very competitive as well. President 2016-2020, you see a very similar map to President 2020, except again a much better map. Starting in 2018, that's what we did see. And if we look at the composite, we do get the Democrats actually winning 7 of these districts, but that may be a little bit overestimating the Democrats in the 11th district, as this is a working class district trending red, and the 5th district a working class district that is trending red. However, I do expect those incumbents to probably hold in 2022, especially the 11th, if this is the map. Again, if we look at the more competitive districts, the 11th, I believe, is within point. The 11th is within a quarter of a percentage point. If we look at the district, the 9th district, this is a R+3 district. The 6th is a D+8 district. The 5th is a R+1.5 district. The 4th the same. The 3rd is a D+4 district. So we do have these 5 more competitive districts, I'd say. The 12th is the more Republican district. That is not too overwhelmingly Republican. It does have a Traverse City and the blue county of Manitowoc, which are the bluer counties, but it's still a very red district. If we look at the compositions of the 12th district, it's basically rural. The 13th district takes in Muskegon County, but it's still very rural. The 10th district takes in Macomb County, but it's still pretty rural overall. The 4th district is actually pretty interesting. Peter Major may lose his district. This is the overestimation of the Democrats doing in Grand Rapids, but it's a trending blue area, so I'm not surprised if the Democrats flipped it in the future, or even 2022 on this map. The 5th district has in Lansing, but it's also pretty rural. The 11th district, it has Arkansas, but the most important Democratic vote sink is in the city of Flint. Flint City has about 81,000 people, and that's 20,000 votes for Democrats. Shawinigan County has 44,000 people. It also nets quite a few thousand votes for Democrats. They also have Flint, the exurban portions of Flint. These are areas that the Democrats do end up netting quite a few thousand votes. And honestly, so, yes, again, a lot of these blue areas across Flint, they basically have 200,000 people right next to Flint. Chickasaw, also Bay City, is also an area that the Democrats do pretty well in. There's still quite a few thousand votes for them there as well. The 9th district has in Kalamazoo County, which also has quite a few Democratic precincts, but in the end, it's diluted with a bunch of Republican precincts to make it very narrowly Republican district. The 14th, again, there's Grand Rapids. The city of Grand Rapids is pretty blue. The exurbs of Grand Rapids is also decently blue, but if we go to Republican areas, it basically gets a little bit more diluted. There's still these Republican areas to help the Republicans win state district-wide. The 5th district, it takes in Lansing. Again, the city of Lansing is pretty blue as well, but it also dilutes it into these Republican areas to make a very narrowly Republican district. The 11th, we have checked in that Flint and Chickasaw. The 2 more competitive districts, the 3rd, it takes in the city of Portage. It does have a very decently blue population here. It also takes in the bluer areas, Farmington Hill, Novice City, West Bloomingfield, and Bloomington Charleston Township. These are bluer areas, but the red areas are mainly up here in the city area. You can see some of these Republican areas does dilute some of the Democratic influence. The 6th district is also a pretty blue district overall, but it does have some blue precincts. You can see Warren City, Charles, Easton Point, Clinton Charter Township, and then we have Troy City. Some of the more larger cities are up here. The Republican areas sort of get diluted in this district, in this map here. The 7th, it's basically Ann Arbor and then some Republican areas in Detroit. It's not very Democratic in the Detroit area compared to the rest of Detroit. It has some blue areas, some exurbs. Although this city have all blue precincts, it's only 61% blue anyway. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. We have Detroit here, mainly in the 1st district and the 2nd district. The in the more larger portions of Detroit, basically if we look at city, the larger portion of Detroit is mainly in this one district area. You could, in theory, keep all of Detroit in this area, but it will be considered a Democratic pack. And just looking at these areas, this is just too blue of an area to just keep them in together. This is a district that's not. If this is a district, basically, it's 91% Democrat, 94% Democrat. and 5% Republican. So, yes. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Drop a like, drop a subscription. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.